The next Battlefield game has been revealed during EA's Investor Day, and there are details about gameplay and the setting of the game and its campaign. So let's jump straight into everything that we know about the next entry into the Battlefield franchise. First up, let's talk about the studios that will be working on the next Battlefield game. DICE, Criterion Games, Motive, and Ripple Effect. DICE will be the studio working on the multiplayer. Criterion will be working on both multiplayer and single player. Motive will only be working on single player, and Ripple Effect is working on a quote, new experience, which is heavily rumored to be a free-to-play battle royale experience. For the campaign, here is everything that we know so far. The setting takes place somewhere between the year of 2027 and 2030, set in various locations worldwide, including the United States. In the first picture posted, we can see Gibraltar, which will more than likely be a part of the campaign. The campaign story is focused on a massive private military group going up against NATO. This is really short info, but that is all the info we have on the campaign thus far. But I'm sure most people are watching for the multiplayer, so let's jump into all the multiplayer details. For multiplayer, the head of Battlefield, Vince Zampella, confirmed that Battlefield would return to 64-player matches. 120-player maps showed to be unpopular for the fans of the franchise, which is why they're sticking to 64 players instead. In an interview with IGN, Zampella states, yeah, the 128 player didn't make it more fun. Like, doing the number for the sake of the number doesn't make any sense. We're testing everything around what's the most fun. So like you said, the maps, once they get to a certain scale, become different. It's a different play space, and I think you have to design around that. So we are designing something that is more akin to previous Battlefields. Zampella also goes on to talk about how the maps will be designed by saying, I'd rather have nice, dense, really nice, well-designed play spaces. Some of them are really good. I can't wait for you to see some of them. When asked about why make the switch to modern day setting, Zampella stated, I mean, if you look back to the peak or the pinnacle of Battlefield, it's that Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 era where everything was modern. And I think we have to get back to the core of what Battlefield is and do that amazingly well, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But I think for me, it's that peak of Battlefieldness in that Battlefield 3 and 4 days. So I think it's nostalgic for players, for me, for the teams even. Those are kind of the heyday, although I would say 1942 also. So it seems like the team over at EA have a pretty good understanding that the players want a modern day shooter, and that is exactly what they are working on. Zampella also goes on to talk about how specialists will not return in Battlefield, and that the classic 4-class system would be returning and taking it back to a basics approach. For the next Battlefield, reports are saying there will be 45 different weapons on launch, which is double of what Battlefield 2042 launched with. There will also be 10 multiplayer maps at launch, which is around the amount that Battlefield 1, 3, and 4 had. Destruction is also in the game like every Battlefield game. It is reported that there will be a significant overhaul to the destruction, but it is not clear exactly what that means. It was reported that there would be caliber-based destruction, kind of like Rainbow Six Siege and how certain weapons would break walls to a certain point. It's also reported that you can pick up and move down players instead of having to revive exactly where they're downed at. On InsiderGaming.com, they said that the title of the next Battlefield is still up in the air. The team over at EA went as far as doing surveys with people voting on which game name they prefer, either Battlefield or Battlefield 6. Over the years, it's been hard to trust a game developer on keeping their words and believing them. Zampella says they are play testing the game every week, and they plan on launching a community program early next year, but we're not sure if this means a closed beta or something. We have a program that we're going to announce next year around getting more community in, because that's kind of the core of what we have to do. Get the community back on our side, get that trust back. So I think we're in a really good place. Is it challenging? Of course, but it wouldn't be fun if it wasn't. Reports are that this community program will be the return of Battlefield CTE, which aided in the development of Battlefield 1 and 4. That's all we know so far about the brand new Battlefield game that was announced at EA's Investor Day. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all FPS games and news, and I'll catch you in the next one.